Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to another edition of NASCAR Thunder 2004 on the channel. The Pepsi 400 at Daytona is upon us. Yes, the second final race at Daytona International Speedway on the season. The first race, or I should say the first racetrack we are going to for the second time this year. It should be a fun 400-mile run to the finish here for our Daytona night race. Points racing once again, of course, as we grow closer and closer to the halfway point in the year. Just 20 races left on the season. Entering tonight's race, and still only the top, or I should say, not only, but the top 9 drivers are still within one race worth of points from each other, so the points battle is super tight. Terry Labonte not far behind that in 10th place, and he is our driver, for those of you that don't already know. Sorry if the camera is choppy. I'm still trying to work on that right now. It looks like it is still a little on the choppy side, but the audio itself is fine, and the actual gameplay quality is still looking pretty good as well, so at least we've got that going for us. Jonathan Rogers, Emmett Stewart, welcome to the stream, guys. And we are going to go through today's key points and as well the starting lineup for today's race. It's bumpy, right? Yes, it is a bumpy Daytona. Again, the older Daytona surface. It was repaved back in before the 2011 Daytona 500. So that is going to wrap up the intro for this one. First and foremost, also, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit that like button as well, and turn on the notifications because we do these full race live streams every single day, as well as other related NASCAR content on the daily, in the hopes of jumpstarting my young broadcasting career so I can live my dream of broadcasting real races within the NASCAR realm. So definitely, again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to follow that journey right here on YouTube on the channel.
Tonight, it's super speedway action under the lights. MRN is live at the Daytona International Speedway this evening with flag-to-flag coverage of the Pepsi 400. This track is known by everyone, race fan or not. But for these race teams, it's a glory all its own when you can get a win here.
The list of former winners here is very prestigious indeed. Who wouldn't want their name to be on it? Who knows, maybe we'll add another lucky driver when this one's all over.
Terry Labonte got back on track last week with that exciting win.
These guys would love to repeat last week's performance with another win. It was a great accomplishment for them coming off that poor finish 2 weeks ago.
With over 25 seasons under his belt, Ricky Rudd is NASCAR's most experienced full-time driver.
It's hard to believe, but he got his first Winston Cup start back in 1975 at the age of 18. Since then, he's been in the top 10 in points more often than not, and he's still at the top of his game.
Kenny Wallace really needs a good finish in this race. He's got a long way to go on the points list.
Yeah, those guys have been working so hard this year. It's a shame it doesn't really show in points. Just seems they can't keep that car out of trouble on race day. Maybe their luck will change today.
Tim Irvin, Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream as well. We'll take you through tonight's starting lineup as promised. Of course, with the front row, we have Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the pole for the third straight race. He is no stranger to winning at Daytona, especially in this race. He did so just 3 years ago in 2001. That was probably one of the more prestigious wins of his career. Rusty Wallace will start outside of him. In row number 2, it'll be Sterling Marlin and Mark Martin. Kurt Busch and Terry Labonte will be in row 3. Labonte, the most winningest driver so far through the first 16 completed races. In row number 4, it'll be Ricky Rudd and Bobby Labonte. Bobby has been close to getting wins in the last handful of races, including a runner-up 2 races ago. Joe Nemechek and Robbie Gordon will be in row number 5. Robbie Gordon did not perform as well at Infineon on a road course yesterday. Maybe he can have some good luck. He had a great run in the 500 last time we were at Daytona. Kenny Wallace and Matt Kenseth will be in row number 6. Kenseth with 2 wins this year. Michael Waltrip, another no stranger to winning at Daytona. He's got a teammate starting outside of him in Jeff Green in row 7. Our Daytona 500 winner, Ricky Craven, will be starting inside row 8. Outside of him, Tony Stewart. Stewart has won the Daytona Summer Race many times throughout his luxurious NASCAR career. Elliott Sadler and Jeff Gordon will be in row number 9. Gordon as well, a former Pepsi 400 winner. Ward Burton, Jimmy Johnson will be in row number 10. Johnson has won this race 2 times in his NASCAR career. Dale Jarrett and Bill Elliott will be in row number 11. Jarrett, known as one of the better restrictor plate racers throughout the 90s, specifically at this racetrack. Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick will be in row number 12. Harvick is a former 500 winner. Remember, he won our Daytona 500 back on season 1. Mike Skinner and Greg Biffle will be in row 13. Biffle coming off his first career win 2 races ago. Mike Skinner got his first career win yesterday. Ryan Newman and Hermie Sadler will be in row 14. In row number 15, it'll be Christian Fittipaldi and Kevin LePage. Fittipaldi ended up running in the top 10 after qualifying 8th yesterday on a road course at Infineon. We'll see if he can continue that success today at Daytona. Brett Bodine, Jerry Nadeau will be in row 16. In row 17, it'll be Ken Schrader and Steve Park. Chase Montgomery, Kyle Petty will be in row 18. And look out for Montgomery to maybe shock the field here today. He was actually in the top 5 in first practice. Jamie McMurray, David Green will be in row number 19. In row 20, it'll be Jeremy Mayfield and rookie Casey Mears. Casey Mears has been in a slump the last handful of races. This is a good track to get going in the right direction. He had a top 5 run in the Daytona 500 earlier this year. Jack Sprague and Stanton Barrett will be in row number 21. Barrett as well finished in the top 5 surprisingly at the beginning of the season right here at Daytona. And Johnny Benson will be rounding out the field here in tonight's race. Ethan, welcome to the stream as well. All 43 drivers have been called upon to start today's race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is about to lead the field to the green flag. And we're underway, the Pepsi 400 at Daytona on our final season of NASCAR Thunder 04. Labonte starting on the outside, going to be a little interesting. His rival, Sterling Marlin, starts in 3rd place, not too far in front of him. Little contact getting up to speed between Labonte and Kurt Busch. Labonte just to the inside in front of Ricky Rudd. But you can see that minimal contact trying to get up to speed was enough to cost Labonte a lot of time behind Kurt Busch. And the top 5 cars pulling away, and from 3rd place to 1st into turn 3 goes Sterling Marlin. He'll try to lead lap 1 with Rusty Wallace looking to his outside. Dale Jr. also on the outside behind Wallace. Jr. goes from 1st to 3rd, reverse of what Sterling Marlin was able to do, and Marlin will lead lap 1. Remember, Labonte going to be looking for payback here tonight at Daytona on Sterling Marlin. Marlin took him out of yesterday's race at Infineon with just less than 35 laps to go. Look at Labonte all the way on the inside. Slight contact. Labonte, a man on a mission to try and catch Marlin as he squeezes on by with half of his car on the apron entering into turn 1 to get by Mark Martin. Big run in the draft now behind Kurt Busch. Looks all the way down low to the inside. No double yellow line rule here for tonight's race as we usually do, at least with this game. And now up to 4th, getting by another Roush Fenway Ford of Kurt Busch. Dale Jr. trying to get back to 2nd. Rusty Wallace goes down to block him. And Wallace looking for a run here. Isn't that the best of luck on these super speedways throughout his career? Wallace looking to try and lead a lap early on today. Jr. comes in with the points lead once again. 36 points ahead of Tony Stewart. Labonte passes him for 3rd. And Jr. continues to go backwards throughout today's race. Only lap 3. But Jr., after starting on the pole, not led a lap so far. Labonte trying to draft with Rusty Wallace, trying to push him going into turn 3. And Sterling Marlin with a block. Marlin of his own, a 2-time Daytona 500 winner. And has won 4 super speedway races in his career, 2 at Talladega as well. Wallace looking for the lead again. Labonte sits back, trying to get a run on Rusty Wallace to the inside into turn 1. Labonte all the way down there, checked up big time into turn 1. He definitely had to, otherwise he would have just walked right up the track into Rusty Wallace. It was an awkward angle on corner entry for Labonte. And Joe Nemechek, who finished second in the Daytona 500 earlier this year, is already into the top 5, and he's trying to catch up with his teammate Terry Labonte. Nemechek, the only Hendrick Chevrolet to not win a race so far this season. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Race of the Week upload will be out tomorrow. It's almost done editing, so the Race of the Week from last week will be uploaded tomorrow. I'll probably upload that in between the start of this stream. The start of tomorrow night's stream and when I get home from work. So probably plan on that uploading anywhere between 6, 7 o'clock. Because tomorrow night's race isn't going to start until 8:30 because my sister's got a basketball game. Labonte that time in an awkward angle gets by Rusty Wallace into turn 1. That has been where Labonte has made the majority of his passes. Look at how far out ahead Sterling Marlin got. Ahead of Terry Labonte, and Labonte looking for payback early on. This could get very dangerous here at Daytona very, very soon as Labonte's got to run. And of course, Marlin's going to try to block for his life right now. Looking to the inside. When will Labonte make that move? Looking for payback in the early going of tonight's Pepsi 400. Looking to do what Sterling Marlin did to him, and now Marlin's kind of trying to protect and run that outside lane. And how about Jeff Green up to 4th place? Green started all the way back in the 14th position. Michael Waltrip started inside of him in 13th back in row 7. They're already both up to 3rd and 4th as Labonte looks to the inside for the race lead on Sterling Marlin. Waltrip to the outside, Green to the inside. Ricky Rudd is now back into the top 5 again, and Marlin barely holds on to the race lead. Green to 3rd. Labonte got a little loose off of 4. Hangs on to his race car. Marlin's led every lap of the first 6 so far tonight at Daytona. Oh, contact! Between Marlin and Terry Labonte. It's not the way Labonte wanted to do it. That is not the way he wanted to get around Sterling Marlin. He wanted to just flat out take him out right there, and he didn't have an opportunity to. He pushed up the track a little too tight into 1. Nonetheless, Labonte will take his first lead of the race, and Jeff Green was able to make it on through as they're 3 wide for 3rd on back. Labonte will lead his first lap of the race off of turn 4 this time, blocking Green down to the inside. 5 bonus points now for Labonte. Second leader, first lead change of the race. As we get into the second half of the year in the next couple races, it's going to be a very interesting points battle, I'm sure of it. And Michael Waltrip trying to get a run as well behind Rusty Wallace. Sterling Marlin again trying to get a run. Here comes Marlin on that inside lane. Labonte does not want any part of Sterling Marlin. And Marlin up to 2nd place now behind Labonte into turn number 3. Labonte goes high to block him. And here comes Marlin back down to the inside. The rivals are side by side. Off of turn 4, Marlin puts Labonte in the wall. Labonte goes around, spinning off of turn 4. Saves it from hitting the inside retaining wall as they race back to the caution flag. Marlin tries to strike again on Terry Labonte. What a save by Labonte off of 4, and we get our first caution at lap number 8. About took out Rusty Wallace in the process as well, and somehow Labonte only dropped back to 15th. The whole field just kind of checked up as the 2 leaders got together. As Labonte merged his way back onto the track cleanly. First caution of the night. Labonte's going to stay out of the pits, as he was able to make the save, luckily. And everybody else pitted behind Terry Labonte. So that will actually give Labonte the lead. Similar to what we saw at Infineon at the beginning of the race yesterday when we had our second caution in the first 30 laps. As far as everybody else pitting goes, at least. Good restart for Terry Labonte as they roll into turns 1 and 2. Green on the inside, now looks to the outside. Sterling Marlin trying to come through the pack again. Marlin just put Labonte in the wall again. Down the back straightaway that time instead of in the center of the corner. He's trying to let Marlin go. And on the apron, Marlin tries to wipe out Terry Labonte, and look at how far ahead the race leader has pulled now. And look at how far back everybody else goes. Unbelievable. Oh boy, the Labonte brothers almost got together in turns 1 and 2 themselves. Bobby on the inside. Terry now bounces into the outside wall, trying to stay in front of Mark Martin at least. And the race leader right now is gone. Marlin relentless efforts to try and take out Terry Labonte once again for the second straight night. Uncalled for. And Rusty Wallace has a big, almost 5-second lead here at Daytona. The Labonte brothers trying to work together and run him down. This guy's only got about 8-lap fresher tires, and with it being Daytona, it's not going to matter too much. Just got 2 tires put on your car. Yeah, I had to get new tires, 4 of them, not last winter, but the winter before that, so I've got 2 years on them now. 2 years, I'm not sure how many miles, probably close to like 30,000 if I had to imagine. The traveling I've done. I didn't do as much traveling last year, so I know it's definitely not up to the 40,000. And we have a caution for the second time today. Going into turns 1 and 2, we have another yellow, so they'll race back to the caution flag. 2 cautions in the first 15 laps of the Pepsi 400. Boy, that's going to hurt Rusty Wallace. He's going to lose that big lead. Terry Labonte going underneath his brother Bobby for second into turn number 3. He's got it. A button's-eye move by Terry Labonte into turn 3 to make the move. He'll get the restart in second place now. There's a slow car down the back straightaway that probably brought out the caution. Man. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. I'm upset that the Packers couldn't win yesterday, so I couldn't care less who wins between those two. I'm kind of pulling for Mahomes. He's a pretty fun guy to watch. Honestly, he's really Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers-esque. He really is. He probably plays a little bit more like a young Brett Favre, because I think Rodgers is a little bit more mobile than him. Granted, he's been playing hurt the last couple weeks, but just kind of my beliefs on it. So green flag is going to be back in the air once again. Labonte looks to the inside. Boy, he got a good launch underneath of Rusty Wallace as they battle for the race lead. Ooh, Labonte gonna have a little help from his brother behind him. What a restart by Terry Labonte, jumping to the lead. 2 early cautions. Debris, it looked like, off of the zero of Jack Sprague that brought out that last caution. So we've had 2 yellows in the first 15 laps. Oh, wasn't paid attention there. Labonte holds on to the lead, though, as they get up to speed. Or at least still trying to get up to speed. Bobby Labonte trying to lead his first lap of the night. So is Mark Martin. Martin to the inside. And Ricky Craven, who qualified outside the top 20 in less than 20 laps and about 6 laps under caution, has reached himself into the top 4. Craven trying to look for the Daytona sweep. I mean, I'm going to watch it still, but I mean, if Green Bay's not in it, I don't really care who wins necessarily. Can you imagine if Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls, though? That would just be insane. He really is the GOAT. He's not the most talented quarterback of all time. He's not flashy, but he does all the small things right. He's earned that reputation. Mark Martin's got the lead. They're 3-3 through the pack. Labonte gets tight. Off of turn 4, into the wall. Rusty Wallace into the back of him as well. Multiple spots lost by both drivers, who restarted 1-2. We're about down to 8th and 9th now. Bonnie made just a slight enough mistake. It's not been a fun night in the first 20 laps for Terry Labonte. He's led a few laps here and there, but between Marlin trying to take him out, he's still on those little bit older tires right now. I'm not even sure where Sterling Marlin's running currently. Ricky Rudd going to try to get around Terry Labonte on the outside. Bonnie kind of lets him go, and now he's going to draft with Rudd. Trying to maybe pull up to that lead pack, who's already about 2 seconds ahead of the second pack. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to read the chat, and I keep making mistakes on the racetrack. It's about the second or third time I've done that already. And it is costing Terry Labonte mightily. Look at the amount of ground. He continues to lose as far back as he has been in the pack all day long. And Sterling Marlin is coming back after him. That got tight in the tri-oval between McMurray and Labonte. Sterling Marlin is coming. XY Games, welcome to the stream. Labonte high to block Jeff Burton. Marlin is coming up the inside lane. And Terry Labonte trying to block Marlin. Marlin's got to run. Again to the inside. Labonte blocks him off. He does not want Marlin to get alongside of him. Labonte might even turn him from behind. Or the other way around. I should say Marlin might try to turn him from behind. Marlin's on the outside of his teammate and rookie Jamie McMurray. Of course, Casey Mears is just ahead of those guys, so all 3 Chip Ganassi drivers are pretty much running within about 5 positions of each other. Jeff Gordon trying to come through the pack. Jeff Burton looks to the outside of Terry Labonte. And just like that, Burton's got the run. Labonte on these older tires just continuing to fade. Tried to side draft Jeff Burton. There's contact all the way around. Jamie McMurray got in the wall. We stay green. Boy, oh boy. That did not look pretty at all. And here comes Marlin to the back bumper of Terry Labonte. Labonte's got to be extremely careful. These 2 drivers nose to tail into turn 1. George Fidel, welcome to the stream. Labonte trying to block Marlin. It has been a sloppy race so far for Terry Labonte. He might try to let Marlin go. The problem, man, Labonte is really struggling right now, though. A lot of the handling problems aren't really the car, it's the analog stick, for those of you guys that do know or might not know already, or just got a newer controller for my PS2 middle of last week. And there's already some pretty significant damage to the right front of Terry Labonte's car, so with Marlin right there, that's why Labonte's got to be extremely careful. Well, Jarrett's starting to come up from behind. Marlin's got to run. In the draft. Looks low, looks back high. Nowhere to go. Kevin Harvick starting to close back into this 4-car group as well. Labonte. Blocks low. Marlin again to the outside. He's got Jeff Burton right behind him. Group of about 5 cars in a pack. About 13 and a half seconds off the lead with all the commotion that's gone on these restarts. And a sloppy start to tonight's race, that is for sure. Bonnie up high, trying to block Dale Jarrett. Sterling Marlin trying to get underneath them. Labonte pushed tight off the exit of the corner. Starting to get a little bit of a run, though, down the back straightaway. Marlin had help from Harvick, but the run on the outside was more prevalent there down the back straightaway. And now Jarrett's all alone on the outside. 4 cars on the inside. Marlin goes high behind Jarrett. Harvick moves to the outside as well. So Jarrett's going to get on blocked. Now Labonte blocks Jeff Burton. Labonte trying to stay in the draft of Dale Jarrett. I don't think Labonte's going to be able to run the outside much today, especially with the problems with my analog stick. Oh my gosh. At least Harvick's running the inside. This might help Labonte. The older tire's just not helping as well. You'd have to imagine the little bit of damage that Terry Labonte has ensued already today as well. About as much contact as you'd see in an entire race at Daytona, as far as no big ones happening. And most of the damage, though, is from when Sterling Marlin tried to take out Terry Labonte back on lap number 8, which brought out the first caution. He just pinched him in the wall off of 4. Oh my gosh, like that's the controller. Like, it just, you can't hold a straight line with this thing. I've mentioned it every single race since we got this, which is probably the last like 4 or 5 points races we've had. And it was actually handling pretty well at Infineon, granted. Oh boy. Bonnie can't hold the inside, got a little loose up the racetrack. And he's trying to turn Sterling Marlin. Marlin actually got hit from behind there. Labonte was looking for his payback. Thought that was the best opportunity to do it. Marlin had to run up the inside. And again, he just can't quite turn him. Well, he really tried, though. I was going to let Ward Burton come up the outside. So Labonte can try and draft behind him. And just try to pick up another ally and try to pick up as much time as he needs. But the problem is Ward Burton continues to stay on the outside. Labonte's either just going to end up in the wall. Something bad's going to happen. But yeah, it's still a PlayStation 2 controller. The last one I had, though, it didn't make like these move, like the analog stick was perfect to the sense where like I can hold a straight line in the corner. I can definitely hold a straight line down the straightaways, but like with this one, I have more troubles down the straightaways than what I do in the turns. Except for when I'm like running the outside like I am here, I can't hold the corners. And even on the inside line, I kind of tend to struggle from time to time. There's a little bit of a bobble again. These older tires don't help either, but it's mainly the controller. Again, if anybody knows down in the comments section if there is a big difference with the PS2 controllers, like I have a red one, two red ones that I bought. My original one was blue. And that blue controller was a lot better than these two. Like, the analog stick just moves too much. It's like I have to, like, half turn it to get it to turn properly.
Number 20 is coming right. The 20 car is outside.
Tony Stewart going to move into the top 20 as Labonte continues to go backwards.
Okay, we lost the spot.
See if Stewart wants to run the inside line. I don't think Labonte's going to be able to hang on in front of Stewart now. It's like Bodine, Sadler, Robbie Gordon, Jamie McMurray. Gonna be the next 4 cars. Terry Labonte's probably gonna have to pit in about 10 laps.
Number 11 is outside. You're clear. Careful, you're getting low on fuel. 38.
Oh,
All over your back bumper. Number 38, now left.
that was a close one.
All rims.
Definitely some contact between the 5 and the 38. Labonte just kind of cut down in front of him way too late. Very, very slight contact.
Got one eye.
Hold up the camera at the end of the stream or during the
38
race.
car is still there. Falling back. Focus on your marks, buddy. Okay.
I read that right.
Got one outside.
Yeah, I mean, I could show you the controller if that's what you're asking.
Still there.
I'll show you the old one and the new one. I'll probably have to show it at the end of the night,
All rims.
the end of the race.
Number 42 is outside.
I don't think I'm going to have much time in the middle of it. Here comes Marlin again. The outside's just training on by Terry Labonte, but Labonte's just willing to turn Marlin and get his payback now, honestly. Or about as soon as he can. So he was stuck on the outside going into the corner. Marlin starting to get to run up the gut.
Onside. You draw back a spot. Let's push it. You're
See
clear.
a little bit of a wiggle down the straightaways that time for Terry Labonte again. Lap 35, and he is struggling pretty badly. Now to the outside of Benson into the corner. That's not going to work out for Terry Labonte. Johnny Benson, remember, started in the last position, so he's trying to trend himself forwards throughout the course of today's race. And again, the run on the outside, down the straightaways, through the trial, really working. Even in the corners, though, you get multiple cars. That outside lane runs really, really well. Cohesive compared to the inside. And Marlin, again to the back bumper. Boy, these two were battling for the lead before that first caution. Now they're battling for 26.
Number 40 is passing low. All right. Off the pace. Everything okay?
Oh my goodness. Marlin wipes out Labonte. Huge crash up and over multiple cars. Chase Montgomery in the air. There's another car that went air. Oh, another hard crash. Multiple cars involved again. Kenny Wallace, Mike Skinner got a piece of it. And again, Marlin wipes out Labonte to bring out another caution, the first big one of the night at Daytona. It's got to be so frustrating for Terry Labonte. Look at the damage. Lap 36 caution. I don't even know how that car's still running. Marlin takes him out when they were 3 wide down the backstretch. Montgomery went airborne, and Joe Nemechek got up on 2 wheels. He didn't completely go upside down like Montgomery did. Montgomery flew over the 5 of Labonte. He never did a complete flip. He almost pulled like a Kurt Busch at Talladega last year where he just surfed over another car. Get anything but the standard black controller because they aren't good. Yeah, I don't have a standard black one, so here's the red one. It's connected to my PS2, so I can't really like hold it. I'll have to move the camera when I get to the end of the race. 4 tires. Heavy damage going to be repaired under the yellow. I guess I could show you the 2 that are unplugged. So here's the old controller. Here's the old one. This is the blue one. This one worked perfectly fine until the controller stuck to the right and I couldn't use it anymore. Now the Jackman falls over on the right side of the race car. Everything's going wrong for Labonte early on tonight. But he survived the big one despite being involved in it. And then here's the red one. Here's the ones I'm using now. Whether it's this one or the one I currently use, they both, they're too touchy. The analog stick is the same size. I basically checked on both of them. So Christian Fittipaldi, Terry Labonte, the only 2 drivers to pit under the caution. We might have some cautions for debris coming out. That's our 3rd wreck of the day. Well, 3rd caution of the day, 2nd wreck, and the first big one. Wow, that took a lot of cars out of the race. At least a lot of drivers are lapped down somehow. I'm not exactly sure how. Labonte's going to have to come from the back of the field now here at Daytona with a car that was kind of struggling handling-wise. But now he's got fresher tires, so that might help. He drafts Greg Biffle, my favorite driver growing up as a kid. Working with him pretty well, giving him a clean shot down the back straightaway. Still pushing him. Biffle couldn't keep up. So Labonte takes him 3 wide to the inside into turn 3. These 2 are allies right now as well. Labonte again slides up behind Biffle. And we have another caution. Debris on the racetrack through the front stretch. And we have another caution. Our 4th caution of the day, 2 for debris now. I believe that was off of Mike Skinner's car. I believe. Take a replay. No, Christian Fittipaldi. So Fittipaldi, who came to pit road, didn't repair all the damage, I guess. As his hood is going to end up coming off. And we'll see if anybody decides to pit again here. Under this caution. No tire limit. Labonte might as well pit. He's only going to lose 2 spots. Give himself 4 fresh tires. He'll repair even more damage that he has to from the big one. Imagine if Labonte comes through the field with a spin and win today. He cannot afford to DNF for the 3rd straight race. And this is one of those more likely tracks, a wild card race, so to speak, as far as the championship standings are concerned. Got to get the standard black one. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna have to do that. And I don't know if it's just this game either. I've tried to play NCAA and Madden, and you can kind of tell there's a little bit of a difference there too. But it's way worse with NASCAR. And I don't know if it's just this NASCAR game because I don't have any other one for the PS2 currently. But I don't want to really find out either. So yeah, I'll just try to get a standard black one then. See if that works any better. And then only use that for, NASCAR. Heck of a restart by Terry Labonte. He's been having some good restarts so far. So 4 cautions already in this race. Pretty good restart. Labonte gets by 2 cars already. Lines up in that 34th position, trying to get a draft off Biffle again off of turn 2. Might get more debris cautions, who knows. It's going to put Labonte right on the edge of the pit window, I'd have to imagine. Biffle cuts down in front of Labonte. Off the exit of turn 4. Still early in this race, though. 45 laps in to have 4 cautions already. Pretty slow race pace so far. A lot of problems for Terry Labonte. Sterling Marlin's already taken him out twice. And once involving the big one. They were 3 wide, and Marlin just pinched him with Jack Sprague down the back straightaway. Labonte almost went up the middle with a move there. Didn't really work. Sterling Marlin continues to go backwards. And you can bet Terry Labonte wants payback on Marlin, who has already taken him out twice today. Big run to the back of Marlin. For right now, Labonte drafts with Sterling. Trying to hold Kenny Wallace up on the inside as well. Little tap into the wall that time by Terry Labonte. Slowed him up.
The 40 car isn't going to let you by easily. Got one outside.
Marlin pulls up in front of Biffle.
Still there.
Bonnie's still on the inside. Not a lot of help behind him anymore. Schrader went up behind Biffle as well. Biffle trying to cross over Sterling Marlin. Wonder how much damage Marlin has from those two accidents as well, trying to take out Biffle. Because Marlin doesn't look anywhere near as fast as what he did when he led the first 7 laps of the race. Christopher Jimenez, welcome to the stream. Marlin almost in the wall. It's been a wild start today at Daytona. We had 3 big ones in the Daytona 500 earlier this year and 1 already today. Terry Labonte slides up now in line behind Sterling Marlin, trying to get Marlin off the outside. Because Labonte wants to take him out. Payback for the 2 times he already tried to get him back today. And remember, it was Marlin's fault why Labonte DNF while leading at Sonoma with less than 35 laps to go yesterday. But he needs to get to his outside so he can hook him. That inside's just not going to work. Steve Park tried to get a run on the inside that time. But he needs Marlin to run the inside lane, and Marlin's just not running that inside.
The 16 car, up high. Still beside you.
Biffle's on the outside.
Okay, we're clear. Car inside.
Cars just wiggle so much down the straightaways.
Drop back a spot. Let's push it. Clear on both sides.
Marlin might be coming to pit road this time.
There's some leaders coming in.
Labonte's car just wiggles too much. So we've got a handful of drivers, actually more than a dozen drivers coming to pit road under green. They did not pit under the caution. Maybe a little easier for them to make it on 3 pit stops to the end of the race by pitting now. Yeah, let's reset, indeed. I still want to take out Marlin any chance I get, but it's going to be tough because he just keeps running the outside. And then when he gets to our inside, he just puts us in the wall every time. It's just so hard to block. I mean, it's Daytona. Whatever line's got the momentum, you can only block for so long. Bonnie's led a handful of laps in the first couple dozen, really the first 20 laps before Marlin took him out the second time. Sterling's probably coming out of the pit lane right now. Terry Labonte's in 11th. I wonder how many laps he's going to be able to lead under green. And boy, if we ended up getting a caution for debris, because remember, we had a big crash. I'm surprised Chase Montgomery, maybe he's not even in the race anymore. I don't know. He went airborne. He didn't completely flip, but he surfed over top Labonte's car going into turn 3 when that crash happened.
Some of the leaders are coming in together.
Problem is that there is no drafting help whatsoever for Terry Labonte.
Stay smooth. We'll get there.
He's up to 8th place, but no drafting help. Yeah, pretty much super speedways and wildcard races, especially in this time period, were definitely the more wildcard-like races. Didn't have nearly as many road course ringers in the Cup Series that ran full time at this time periods. So that, and of course Daytona and Talladega. Daytona and Talladega. Who do I want to win? I'm guessing you said it. Are you talking about the Daytona 500 in a couple weeks or tonight's races? Obviously, I want to see if we can get ourselves to victory lane, but already behind the 8 ball with damage from the big one, and those had nothing to do with our doing either. Sterling Marlin crashed us out of one race and now tried to take us out of another. And he didn't take us out completely, but he gave us enough damage to where it has definitely hindered our speed by quite a bit. I believe the rest of the leaders are coming to pit road right as we speak. Still no drafting help for Terry Labonte. Not going to lead that lap, but he will take the lead here at lap 54. It'll be a lead change at the start-finish line next time by. Without any drafting help, Labonte's half tempted to just come down to pit road and take fuel only now and see where he cycles. I think it's probably going to be the wise decision because he's just going to lose so much time running by himself. There's only one car behind him that could maybe catch him, and that'd be about it. So that's going to be the strategy call. Labonte's going to pit, make it a 2-stop race to the finish from here. 70 miles per hour is that pit road speed limit. No tires, full tank of fuel. Which won't be much to fill it all the way up. They need to make no mistakes. And problems with the fuel man trying to get the pump in the tank. Still a 7-second stop, but that was not ideal. Labonte works his way back up onto the racetrack. He's still in the lead, but there are fast cars coming up behind him as Junior and Kenseth and Gordon have to brake. Might have been a blend line violation, but I don't think Labonte cares at this point. He wanted to hang on to the lead. That mess up on pit road by his crew, the second stop they've already messed up today in the first 55 laps. Labonte's going to be out there with the lead on the same pit strategy as everybody else. The only difference is he's got a little bit older tires and a wrecked race car. But as far as the 500 goes, obviously my man Ryan Blaney, I hope he wins it. He's finished second already in the last 4 years. Twice in the last 4 years. So he's definitely been close. Obviously finished by nose. He was so close last year. Even closer to what he was in 2017. He's got a couple Talladega wins, so I think he will be one of the favorites. He barely hangs on in front of Jeff Gordon. Matt Kenseth right there in this big pack of cars. All nose to tail with one another once again. Big block off of turn 2. Now down to the inside as Labonte tries to just hang on for the lead. We're nearing about 100 laps to go tonight at Daytona. Kenseth perhaps looking for his 3rd win of the year. Gordon for his 2nd. So at least Labonte's found himself exactly where everybody else is. And as far as fuel goes, everybody only has to pit 2 more times to the end of the race. At least 20 cars, if not more, in this front pack. 3 wide for 2nd place. Ricky Rudd in the middle. Kenseth was trying to charge to the bottom car of the wall. Jeff Gordon scrapes the wall. Scrapes against the side of Ricky Rudd. That was very, very close to being another huge accident off of turn 2. Kenseth escapes on down on the inside to 2nd. But Labonte, who was in front of everything, pulls ahead by about a half a second or so. It's going to allow these guys to get a huge run on Labonte when they get in his draft again, likely going into turn 1. I don't know, man. I'm asking myself the same thing. I'm always more of like a conservative guy and say take the points, but in a situation where you have less than 5 minutes left in the game, and it's a one possession game, you need a touchdown. Yeah, I don't know, because I don't trust the Packers defense enough. They didn't play that great. Yeah, Brady threw 3 interceptions, but that was more Tom Brady's fault than us playing good. I mean, that was just Brady lobbing it up under pressure and just underthrowing passes by 10, 20 yards on 2 of those interceptions he threw. So, I mean, not like the Packers defense did a lot to get those 3 interceptions. Yeah, they put pressure on him, but, you know, that's just Brady being 43 years old, not being able to throw the deep ball as well or as consistent throughout the course of a game, especially in the second half of a game when he's already thrown over 20 to 30 passes. I don't know. I understand why Rodgers is upset. You can't blame him with the coaching, but at the same time, too, you know, the whole, like, oh, you know, where's he going to go this year? Is that the final straw? I don't think it is, because there's not really other options out there for him that are better than Green Bay. He's got that connection with Devontae Adams that's going to be hard to grow that connection somewhere else with somebody else. Jeff Gordon to the lead, passing his teammate Terry Labonte down the back straightaway. Kurt Busch as well gets on by in second place. Labonte trying to hang on for third. They're pulling away from him with that 2-car tango. Ricky Rudd to the outside of Labonte now through the tri-oval. Labonte wants one other car to pass him so Terry can kind of try to draft behind these guys and catch up to Gordon and Busch. And he's probably going to allow Ryan Newman now on the inside instead. Kind of chops off Michael Waltrip. So Newman gets on by down the back straightaway. Terry Labonte trying to keep up with him. He really needs Newman to run that inside lane. This massive, massive run by Terry Labonte to the back bumper of Ryan Newman into turn 3. Newman running that middle to upper lane. That is not where Labonte wants him to go. And doesn't have any draft help in front of him. That's going to cost him. It's going to cost Labonte and me. So Sanderlock stick wanting to wiggle back and forth down the straightaways. It's hard to stay in the draft when that's the case. Newman down to the inside. That's going to help Labonte a ton here in turns 1 and 2. So Labonte wants the 2-car tango, just like Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon are doing. And Gordon's leading laps, I believe, for the first time tonight. Ryan Newman, who started outside the top 10, is having a good run so far as well, of course. Ricky Rudd almost got underneath Labonte. We'll have to see interval-wise if Labonte's really able to gain. It's 2.1 off the lead. We'll see what it's going to be this next time by. Labonte pulls with the back bumper into 1 and 2 on the inside. Behind Ryan Newman once again. These older tires are definitely hurting Labonte as well as a damaged race car, but he's got to do whatever he can to not lose too many spots and hold this track position with the strategy he's on right now. So that way when the next pit stops come, if we stay green that long, get something going. Ooh, a little contact with Michael Waltrip and Ricky Rudd that time. Football set up for Tom Brady. I was joking with a couple of my friends yesterday on a group text because they were like, hey, are the Packers going to do it? Obviously, they know I'm a Packers fan. And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, during the course of the game, Tom Brady was just... in the first half, Brady wasn't missing a pass, like, at all. And the incomplete passes he was having, the receivers were just dropping them. And I was like, man, why is Tom Brady so good? Like, he's not the most athletic guy in the world. He's not the most talented quarterback ever. He just does all the small things right. I was like, he's a 43-year-old with literally a dad bod, and he's still able to just do the small things right and just enough to be the best at it. And he's obviously smart, too. But I was like, if I was 43-year-old with a dad bod, I'd be complaining about my back every other week. So the fact that Tom Brady's still able to lead teams to the Super Bowl at his age, and, again, not really the most athletic guy in the world, both on look and just, you know, how he is. I mean, he's really slow. His combine speed wasn't he like over a 5-second 40-yard dash? That was when he was 20. So he's never been the most athletic guy. Far from it. It's just crazy how he's able to do what he does. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. It's hard to tell if Newman and Labonte are really closing this gap, as well as just the pack itself. At least Labonte is giving Ryan Newman an ally. And how about the run Johnny Benson's having tonight? 4 cautions, a little bit of strategy play in there, I'm sure, by Johnny Benson. Benson is up to 5th place after starting in last in today's race. What a run by Johnny Benson. Could be a Cinderella story if he wins this race. It'd be a 2nd career win. And the fact it would come from a last place starting spot here in the Pepsi 400 tonight. Just be insane of its own. Man, I was plus 64 with Newman, and then I forgot to like save it, and now it's down to plus 18. It's a bummer. Lost the draft just for a quick second there. 2.7 off the lead is Labonte, so he's not losing as much time. The problem is yes, they're not losing as much time, but they're still losing time to the top 2. I mean, those guys are probably just staying single file. Gordon's leading the laps. Kurt Busch is content with running 2nd for right now and not leading any laps. Labonte not being able to keep the car straight down the straightaways doesn't help still. Labonte's got to run to the inside of Newman. He's not checking up for him on the outside that time. Labonte's just going to take the run and try to take that 3rd position away and try to hang on for every spot he can. Contact with Newman off of turn number 4. But Labonte clears him nonetheless. 3.4 off the lead in 3rd. Logan Miller, welcome to the stream. Newman again with a charge to the outside. Jeff Green pulls to the bottom right in front of Jeff Burton. Benson still up there on the outside trying to draft with Ryan Newman. Thought Green was going to take him 3 wide there for a moment as Labonte hangs on. Burton up the middle now. Look at the run by Jeff Burton. A 3 wide move up the middle to get by both Green and Newman. Great run out of the back bumper of Labonte for 3rd going into turn 3. Oh, little contact. Jeff Burton there. Bonnie drifting up a little bit too tight on these older tires. If he had fresh tires and a non-wrecked race car, we saw how fast he was at the beginning of the race. And he could thank the 40 of Marlin for that. Little side draft there on Jeff Burton, really pulling him back again and allowing himself down the back straightaway to pull clear of both the 99 and the 1. Shane Jones, welcome to the stream. I am racing, yes, on NASCAR Thunder 04. This is not NASCAR Heat 5. Hopefully I can get a career mode out as soon as possible on Heat 5 to at least get some sort of videos uploaded for that game again. Because we're done with the full race live streams, but still plan on doing at least a handful of uploads, if not a little more than that, before the next NASCAR game comes out. It's weird how many cars are just kind of spaced out sporadically throughout the field as well. Look at the track map. There's just like groups of 2, 3, 4 cars, maybe trying to avoid a big one again, perhaps. Who knows? It's not impossible. We've already seen one in the first 40 laps of tonight's race. There's another bigger group of cars just coming off of turn 2 right now. Oh, boy. Bonnie was going to try to pinch Jeff Green, but not like that. Again, the analog stick. Kind of making me look like an idiot, not being able to drive in a straight line at Daytona. But Well, I guess I know to get a black controller as soon as I possibly can. Another big run, Labonte. Willing to run right behind Ricky Rudd as long as Rudd stays on that inside lane. But already Rudd drifting up towards the outside in the center of turns 3 and 4. Labonte got up in the marbles, but does keep it off the wall. And 500 champion Ricky Craven coming back up through the field once again. Labonte doesn't want to run the outside, so he's just going to take the run to the inside lane. Rudd could not block it. You can tell Labonte's still fast in the draft. It's just as the lead car, he's not fast anymore. We have seen a couple of amazing finishes in the last 4 races, both in which Labonte won, a thriller at Dover and Pocono. And this could very well be another one here tonight at Daytona. Pushing tight. Burton up the inside. Labonte trying to pinch him, but he doesn't want to make contact with him, so he's not going to pinch him too much. Burton about got the side draft on Labonte, and still Labonte holds on to 3rd place. Great run on older tires and a damaged race car by Terry Labonte just to be running in 3rd where he's at right now. Very impressive. I figured they were going to be the team to beat anyway, even if Green Bay made it. I might be a Green Bay fan, but I'm not biased. Wow. There's a push. From Green to the back of the 5. Definitely tell Jeff Green did not get out of the gas when Terry Labonte slid up in front of him. Oh, car way down to the inside on the apron. I don't know if somebody blew an engine right in front of the pack or just got loose in the tri-oval, but that just kind of log jammed the rest of the pack further back. Only about half the cars in that 20 to 30 car pack are able to actually run through turns 1 and 2. There could definitely be more train racing, that is for sure. We have seen those kinds of races on this game for us, but not tonight. With the damage Labonte's got on the car, he's not going to be able to pull away from the pack with 1 or 2 other cars like you would see on this game if you could really just use that share draft to your advantage. Yeah, 20 days to the Daytona 500. Less than 3 weeks. The Busch Clash is going to be 5 days before that. 15 days until the Busch Clash. Awesome. 2 weeks from tomorrow night. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream that night. So there was a blown engine. Oh, Bobby Labonte. Man, he has had some terrible luck with blowing engines in races where he's had a good run. He's led laps today, and just a tough break for Bobby Labonte. That's his 3rd DNF due to an engine failure midway through the race in the last 6 or 7 races. Three cars just got around Labonte in turns 1 and 2 alone. Terry trying to draft down the back straightaway still with Jeff Burton. He does not want Jeff Burton to pull away. Goes to the inside behind Michael Waltrip, but Labonte just not able to keep up with these guys. They both get back around Ricky Craven. Here's Dale Jr., the pole sitter, trying to come back up through the field. Harvick now to the outside, trying to take a spot away from Labonte, who's on the inside. We're almost halfway done here tonight, the Pepsi 400. Top 2 have just pulled away. Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch. 3x3, middle of the pack. Labonte is starting to fade now that he's getting back in traffic further and further. Tony Stewart, who started way back in the field, is now up to 7th. He was a king in the Daytona night race in the Cup Series for a lot of years in the late 2000s to early 2010s. Benson, who started last, still in the top 10, barely. Dale Jr. going to get on by. Contact between Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte. It's a 2-pit stop race to the finish. About 6.8 seconds off the race lead right now for Terry Labonte as well. And it might very well be a 2-tire stop for Terry Labonte to try and get whatever sort of track position he can back once again. Might have to pull back up on the racetrack a little early again to do it. I think the leaders are kind of held up with a couple of the lap cars right now. Yeah, Speed Weeks usually started the weekend before the 500. They would use for a while they would have the what was at the time the Budweiser Shootout or the Sprint Unlimited Saturday night, and then the Daytona 500 qualifying the Sunday before the 500 the next afternoon. But they're having to condense because the Super Bowl's on Sunday, and they wouldn't be able to compete with the Super Bowl if they were to run the Clash on a Sunday afternoon, or even the Daytona 500 qualifying on a Sunday afternoon. So, but starting the weekend after the 500 condenses the schedule a little bit. They'll get done a week earlier at the end of the year, so a week longer off season next year. And as well, that means the Busch Clash is going to be on Tuesday night before the 500. Daytona 500 qualifying's Wednesday, and it's not Wednesday afternoon. I actually just checked a couple days ago. The 500 qualifying's Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So primetime qualifying at Daytona. That's going to be interesting. Then Thursday night, they'll have the duels. We've been accustomed to those being night races for the last handful of years. And then the truck race Friday night, ARCA race Saturday afternoon. Saturday night will be the Xfinity race. Or it might be Xfinity Saturday afternoon, ARCA Saturday night. I'm not entirely sure what order those two races are off the top of my head. But they're both on Saturday and then the 500 on Sunday. Oh boy. Contact between Benson and Labonte off of turn 2. Dangerous again with Labonte's right rear. Kind of clipping Johnny Benson in the 10 just a little bit more. Yeah, how about Hermie Sadler trying to get his way into the top 10? One win on the year due to a randomization of the finishing order. We've had randomization in the finishing order 4 times of the 6 DNFs Terry Labonte's had this season. Yes, I was at Watkins Glen in 2019. That was before the YouTube channel, so I did not vlog that trip. I didn't start the channel until last February. Former 500 champ just the prior year to this in 2002. Ward Burton up to 10th place. Drafted behind Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte trying to hang with both of those guys. Wonder if you might see some guys short pitting here in the next couple laps to make it a 2-stop race to the finish, because that window is open to do that now. So lap cars probably going to slow up Ricky Rudd and Ward Burton. Oh yeah, they're slowing up a huge amount going off into turn 1. Labonte all the way to the inside. He clips the 22 of Ward Burton. He thought he could clear him way before the entrance of the corner. That looked pretty ugly. We'll contact the lap cars, Mike Skinner and Kevin LePage as well. That was not a very, very wise decision by Terry Labonte. That's probably the worst decision he's made all day. He's made that move a couple times in the 1 and it worked, and he thought he could clear him with the lap traffic coming up, and he just couldn't do that. Not that time, at least. About 10 seconds off the lead now. That cost him a lot of time. He's got 0 drafting help. So close to those lap cars, but just not close enough to draft off of them even. We're past halfway. Teammate coming up from behind him now of Jimmy Johnson. Bonnie's also catching Christian Fittipaldi in the 43 car. Just up ahead. Lived in Ithaca. Oh, okay, yeah, that's where I actually stayed. Yeah, I stayed in Ithaca for a couple nights. We got there the Saturday before the race, and we left the Monday after, if I'm not mistaken. Went with my sister that year. To that race that year. That's pretty cool. Bonnie trying to draft with Christian Fittipaldi, but I don't think Fittipaldi's fast enough. And that outside's starting to get a run. Oh, that got tight. Bonnie tried to squeeze into a hole he probably wasn't going to be able to get to, but he wanted to make sure he could draft with his teammate Johnson. Fittipaldi's slow because he doesn't have a hood, so that's probably causing some aero deficiencies. Well, Johnson might have been able to come to pit road, and that little bit of contact that he made with Ward Burton, that's the second time he's gotten into Ward Burton. I'm surprised he's not a rival. Oh man, Ward Burton almost drilled the lap car that was up in smoke through the tri-oval. Very close call. Kenseth's going to get around the outside. Bonnie slides up in line between Kenseth and Ward Burton. That's on cleanly. Luckily enough for Terry Labonte. Yeah, that seems about right. It was about a half hour or so drive from the racetrack. It was actually, like, we would have drove past the Watkins Glen area, the Watkins area, where the track was to get to the hotel, but that was like one of the cheaper hotels that we could find in the area a couple weeks before the race. So I didn't mind driving the extra half hour the day before, because it wasn't too long of a trip compared to what I'm used to for going to races. Most races I've been to have been 8 to 10 hour drives, or 8 to 11 hour drives, and that one was only about 6 and a half, so it felt a lot quicker than most of the other races I've gone to. Bonnie's still dropping. Tried to side draft Benson, just can't hold that straight line to save his life. And that contact with Benson allows Rusty Wallace to get on by. Wallace now trying to make a move on Johnny Benson. Remember, Wallace had a bigger lead earlier. Still a car up in smoke. I think it might be the same driver, Joe Nemechek. So front row Joe up in smoke. He was involved in the big one earlier. I'm sure he was already slow because of that. Tough break there. Oh boy, Burt might have got pinched into the wall. Labonte goes all the way back to the inside, trying to make a save as he slides down the back straightaway, clipping the grass and back onto the racing surface. And now is going to be a good time for Terry Labonte to hit pit road. It'll be a two-tire stop. A lot of other drivers coming into the pits as well. Labonte trying to outbrake Elliott Sadler. Got to make sure he doesn't speed. Trying to gain as much time as he can right there, and he does. Two-tire stop. Right sides only for Terry Labonte. Going to repair a little bit of damage along the way. Full tank of fuel and no adjustments. Another big save, though, down the back straightaway for Labonte just to keep his car in the race. Remember, he kind of lucked his way into a top 10 in the 500 after getting involved in the big one. Can he do the same thing in the Pepsi 400 today, just get a top 10 after being involved in a big one today? Labonte works his way back up onto the racetrack. After a two-tire pit stop, the two leaders just got around him. He just could have gotten up in front. There was no way he was going to be able to do that without them crashing into him. So here's the third and fourth place cars. Third, fourth, and fifth to be exact. Kevin Harvick, Ricky Craven, and Jeff Burton. So everybody of the first set of drivers just came to pit road that last time. Bonnie's trying to block as he tries to get back up to speed with less than 80 laps to go. So again, yes, past halfway here tonight in the Pepsi 400. 4 cautions, but this is the longest green flag run of the race so far at 41 laps. That is why you're seeing green flag pit stops as we speak. Driver's coming out of the pit lane. Bonnie's just trying to hold as many guys behind him as possible. Bonnie's car might be a little looser with the right side tire change and not making any adjustments. I think ideally he probably could have made a wedge adjustment, put a half a round into it to maybe help car a little bit. Jack Spriggs, Stanton Barrett on the inside. Bonnie going to clear them both before he gets into turn 3, so that's going to help. Still trying to go a little high to block Craven. I mean, ideally, if he can just cycle himself into third by holding these guys back before they make their pit stops, that could be a very good strategy for Labonte. He gained a lot of time coming to pit road and taking right sides only. He's going to save himself about 4 to 6 seconds as well. Those guys that might have just got around him, especially after he saved his car down the back straightaway, he's definitely got a good chance to get back around them. He was in, I believe, 16th when he came to pit road. It's going to be tough to catch Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch without a caution today, though. Bonnie lucked his way into a win at Pocono 2 races ago. Maybe he can luck his way into a win at Daytona. One of the tracks you got to be probably the luckiest. And this analog stick is just, again, it's making me drive stupidly. And luckily, Harvick and Ricky Craven are coming back in this time. Plus, the car's a little on the loose side on top of the analog stick, again, with only taking right sides under the last stop. So that will likely mean left sides under the final stop of the day for Terry Labonte. Again, just a 1 pit stop race to the finish. Never been to Watkins Glen. Yeah, it's a beautiful area of the country. I highly recommend it. And the track itself, as far as, road courses go, I think it's the best one in NASCAR. There was a golf course in Ithaca I actually played the night we got there, because we got there pretty early in the day. It was like 2, 3 o'clock, so I got a full 18 holes in there, and then I went back the next day because the race wasn't until 2 o'clock. Had a tee time for 7 a.m. the next morning. Got out of there, and we got to the racetrack about an hour and a half to 2 hours before the race started, so that was perfect. Definitely a fun trip. Hit the outlet mall in Ithaca as well before we headed home. No drafting help for the moment for Terry Labonte. 70 laps to go here tonight, the Pepsi 400. Bonnie's right back to 16th. That's where he was when he came to pit road. Boy, if he doesn't gain any positions at all with this 2-tire strategy, that is really going to hurt him. Yeah, I was quite surprised. I've kind of mentioned it a couple times on the channel before from people that have asked if I've either been there or, or I want to go there, and I mentioned that I've been there. I did not realize on TV that the track was actually basically in the mountains. Like, the elevation changes are because the track is in the mountains, which is awesome because of all the trees around it and everything. It's basically hidden until you come up right on it. It's like, oh, wow, there's a road course, like, right in the middle of the mountainy area here. It's pretty awesome. Some of the other leaders on pit road now. So I think Labonte's going to at least be able to gain a little bit more time and a couple spots because of this strategy. Again, he's just trying to get a top 10 here tonight at this point with a damaged race car, with the pit strategies he's been able to pull off. Giant pack of cars starting to close in behind Johnny Benson, Mark Martin, and Terry Labonte off of 4. Turn 4, that is. Have to be careful with some of these guys. On the apron of the racetrack. There's Ward Burton. We saw Labonte battling with him for a little bit, so that'll be a pass for position. Martin, meanwhile, to the inside of Johnny Benson, trying to make a move there. Another car just came out of the pits up ahead. The race leader currently is on pit road as well. That could be another spot. Not sure who this is. So Dale Jarrett definitely gained a little bit of ground as well. Labonte trying to draft with Dale Jarrett. Jarrett tries to get up to speed. But if Labonte can just link up with a drafting partner and get going, that would be pretty good as far as him trying to gain time without just the pit strategy alone. It's going to be tough. These guys have 4 fresh tires. Labonte's only got those 2 fresh right sides. The left side's about 50 to 60 laps old. Labonte has pulled away from Martin and Benson drafting with Dale Jarrett, though. Jarrett can just continue to stay on the bottom, and if Labonte could just hang on right there with him, could be a good tango. I think Labonte wanted to pass him if he got an opportunity to, but he didn't really have a chance. Both times he had a big run on him. Labonte gained 2 spots with that pit strategy, and that's it. I think he's a little disappointed. He thought he might have been able to gain a little more than that, just couldn't do it. Trying to keep Mark Martin behind him. Same time, he's still trying to draft with Dale Jarrett. That could be tough. You see me being a car mechanic? I don't know enough about a car to be a mechanic, honestly. Race car or not. That's why I couldn't go solo with my go-kart racing career. I couldn't help with setups and everything like that. What? I saved the share draft that time. I didn't save it with Ryan Newman earlier. I tried to save it with Dale Jarrett because I remembered that I couldn't save with Ryan Newman, and it didn't save that time. It's not going to save that time either. Benson's got a huge run. Martin's still struggling to get around Jerry Labonte. Labonte doesn't want anybody to pass him. If he gets a chance to get back to either Johnny Benson or Dale Jarrett, he's got to make a pass. You just wonder what it's going to take, even if we get a restart, to make passes on the racetrack. Perhaps even just get back into the top 10. Jeremy Mayfield going to get on by. Huge run on the outside by all 3 of those guys. Wow, Labonte got loose off of turn 2. Barely keeps it off the wall and barely kept it off Elliott Sadler. I thought he was going to clip him right in the left rear. Yeah, Ryan Newman was racing back in this time period. Newman was a rookie in 2002. Full-time, at least, in 2002. I think he ran part-time in the 0-2 car in 2001. I think. Labonte back to 17th now. Shout out to Mike Skinner running in 18th here tonight. Skinner was involved in the big one, along with Terry Labonte, but you can obviously see he doesn't have nearly as much damage as Terry does. Just one more pit stop here tonight. Just one more chance for Labonte to gain track position without a strategy. Did I shave my... yeah, I was growing out a little bit of a playoff beard for the Packers. I do that with all my sports teams, by the way. So if you saw my beard getting really long at the end of the NASCAR season last year, it's because Blaney made the playoffs. Unfortunately, though, he only made it 3 weeks, so it didn't go that long. So that's like when I grow the length out on it, it's usually that's the reason why. When Blaney made it to Phoenix in 2019, he one day didn't make it to the round of 8. That was the longest my beard had ever gotten, because I usually like trim it down, or at least trim the sides down, and then trim the length down. I trim the length down every 4 weeks, and I trim the sides down every 2 weeks, so that way it doesn't grow out on the side. But I just let it like all grow out for like my playoff beards for my teams, and that includes NASCAR with Ryan Blaney. So I grew it out for like 9 weeks on the side and the length, which was like the longest I'd ever made it. And Like, I was, like, unrecognizable when I trimmed it back down, even though it was only like that for, like, 2 months, 2.5 months. I think I started growing it a couple weeks before the playoffs started, too, so I kind of cheated a little bit, but I wasn't expecting him to make it to the round of 8 that year. I was expecting a round of 12 exit, and he made it to the round of 8, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, I got to keep the beard for another 3 weeks yet. He would have made it to the championship floor. If he would have actually won the championship that year, that would have been huge. I think I would have kept it through the winter if he would have won the championship. That's the second time Terry Labonte has gotten in the wall down the back straightaway. And again, that's the analog stick just not cooperating with me. Poor Mark Martin's been stuck behind Terry Labonte ever since Terry came off the pit road. 60 laps to go tonight at Daytona. First snow. Yeah, we've had snow off and on pretty much since like late November, early December. We haven't had huge snowstorms yet. I think we had like 2 of them where we got like 3 to 4 inches, but we haven't had that big one yet. Still waiting on that. We usually get 1 or 2 of those at least every winter where we get at least 6 to 8 inches. Like even the last couple winters where we really have hardly gotten any snow at all, both last year and the year before, at least we still had that one snowstorm where we got at least 6 inches, but we haven't had that yet this year. XX Games, welcome to the stream, by the way. Saw you pop in there a little bit ago. Got to acknowledge it. Terry Labonte 20 seconds up to lead. 0 speed here today. Analog stick problems as usual, but Terry Labonte has gotten taken out by Marlin twice for cautions. The one he was able to save. Collected a little bit of damage when he got pinched in the wall off of turn 4, but then Marlin again wrecked him down the back straightaway. That caused the big one. We saw 2 cars go airborne. None of them completely flipped over. Chase Montgomery surfed over top the 5 of Labonte's car. That caution came out just prior to lap 40, and that was the big one. And also on 2 tires was Joe Nemechek. Unfortunately, he has just blown an engine a couple dozen laps ago, so he is out for the day. A handful of drivers got taken out in that accident for good as well. Yeah, we had snow on Christmas this year. Posted it on my Instagram. We had about an inch of snow on like Christmas Eve night into Christmas morning, so that was kind of cool. That's the first time in a long time we've actually had snow for Christmas. Especially like snowing specifically on Christmas, so that was pretty cool. One of the few cool things about 2020. I mean, look at that. From the whole time Labonte got off at turn 2, it was just zigzagging halfway down the back straightaway, clips the wall again. I think Labonte's hoping he catches Marlin or Marlin catches him wherever Sterling's running. Sterling's probably behind him. I think he's gotten caught in traffic pretty much since the big one. So he got a piece of it too, just not nearly as bad as Terry Labonte. I think obviously Labonte was lucky to even be running. At that point, it could have very well been a 3rd straight DNF. So even an 18th place finish is better than that, but not exactly what he was looking for here tonight. Yeah, I think Montgomery did DNF out of that because he definitely caught some contact there. Significant contact. Here's David Green, another one of the slower lap cars. Labonte getting a big run off of him. Maybe he could draft with David Green. He's trying to draft with Fittipaldi, who was without a hood earlier, and that just didn't work at all. They trained around him on the outside. I think Robbie Gordon's going to do the same here.
Number 31 is still there. Keep digging. We're down a spot. Keep digging. The 31 car is still there.
I don't know. David Green's keeping up with Robbie Gordon. Getting a pole on the inside with Terry Labonte and Mark Martin right behind him.
Clear on both sides. Front and left.
Now in line behind Robbie Gordon on the outside. Labonte has the run to the inside into turns 3 and 4 of Robbie Gordon, but not enough of a run to make a pass. Oh, he tried to side draft and they made contact. Oh, and now Robbie Gordon just bounced it off the wall. off of turn 4 as Labonte was already sliding up and then ricocheted back into the 5. Still hard racing middle of the pack, just inside the top 20. Again, the leaders got so far out ahead. Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon were just working in a cohesive unit, and Labonte's just been slow. So that's why he's so far off the lead. And as these cars get around him, really only like 2 to 3 of them are getting around him at a time. They're able to pull away. Labonte just kind of holds up the rest of the pack behind him. So you're seeing again here. Robbie Gordon and Mark Martin get on by now. Well, halfway on fuel. And again, maybe we get a caution before the end of this race. That really shakes things up again. It's not impossible. Labonte drafting with Mark Martin on the inside. Trying to get some sort of a run. At least he's able to get around Robbie Gordon again. So he got one of those guys back, but even single car, Mark Martin just pulling away. Labonte got really loose off turn 2, though. Definitely didn't help. Trying that outside lane. Again, this is a massive run by Terry Labonte as they go off into turns 3 and 4. Big run to the inside of Mark Martin. Trying to get Mark back. Oh, contact as Labonte got loose again. And into the outside wall hard. Huge crash. Another big one. Robbie Gordon, David Green, Terry Labonte. Another car escapes down to the inside. They'll race back to the caution flag. A 3 to 4 car crash off of turn 4 as Labonte got loose. Slid up into Mark Martin. And again survives another big accident. That one not as big as the first one. More damage. I don't even know how Labonte's still in the race after both of those crashes. And Labonte's going to have to pit. So you can see... I mean, I still have a beard. I didn't shave it completely. I just put like a number... Took like a number 1, just buzzed it. It's still there. From the camera angle, it probably doesn't look as... It's a red beard, too, so when it's short, it's not like as visible. But heavy damage on Terry Labonte's race car. A 4-tire stop coming up. Still 1 pit stop to the end of the race from here. I know, exactly. Tiny wrecks at other racetracks we've survived, and we've survived 2 big ones today, one in the Daytona 500. And man, car was slow before because of damage. It's probably even slower now.
A lot of cars stayed out on that caution.
Jeremy Mayfield, Mike Skinner also came to pit road. 27 cars on the lead lap. I believe Labonte was able to hold on to the lead lap at the time of the yellow despite spinning there. He's about half a track off the lead. Green flag back in the air. That's a caution for Labonte, but the problem is, as he lost ground because of it and is going to lose more speed with his race car because of it as well. Less than 50 laps to go after a 5th caution of the race, and that was about a 70-lap green flag run, so definitely the longest green flag run of the race. Labonte took off on the restart. Oh, little contact with Skinner. He can't get off of him. And look at how much ground Mike Skinner and Terry Labonte lost after the contact between the 2 of them. Oh, we got another caution off of turn 4. Likely going to be debris. Debris on the racetrack. Labonte's going all the way to the inside, so at least with Skinner and Labonte losing the pack, they'll get another chance. Our 6th caution of the race, our 3rd for debris. Off of Robbie Gordon, who was involved in that 3-car crash off of turn 4. So easy to get loose on older tires and the analog stick with this. I'm trying my best. You guys usually don't see me crash on my own a whole lot, and We probably crashed on our own more times in the last week and a half with this new analog stick than I can really ever remember. Labonte's going to pit again. So Labonte going to pit again. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel. He's going to repair more damage.
Not quite sure if it's the strategy move or if they need to make a change on that car as he enters his pit.
Yeah, there's no damage clock as well, Michael. So that definitely helps too. You know, all the time in the world to try and get that car back to minimum speed. So 6th caution of the night. Not going to be able to repair much more damage after both of those big accidents. That was the only car on pit road during that caution. One car was able to get back on the lead lap. I believe it was Jamie McMurray before the caution came out, so good for him. He's back into this thing. Any one of these 28 cars on the lead lap can win. Caution still might not be over. We'll see. Another restart here. Terry Labonte, bottom of the racetrack, trying to stay in the draft this time as he's right behind Jamie McMurray. These guys don't want to waste any time at all, especially at the back with just less than 50 laps to go. 45 laps left to be exact. This is the mini wheats paint scheme for Terry Labonte. Oh boy. A little pinch there from the 19 of Mayfield. More extracurricular contact. Able to stay in front of Mike Skinner. They're very bunched up 3x3 off of turn 4. And Labonte's losing the draft. Into the tri-oval now. He's got Skinner right behind him trying to help him out, but it might not be enough. Definitely going to have to be careful with this pack of cars ahead. Luckily, it's mostly single-file restarts, but they are very tight off of turn 2. One pit stop race to the finish for everybody. Look at them just going 3x3 still. Labonte's last chance to catch these guys again is probably to let Mike Skinner go on by and draft behind Skinner. The problem is he might lose Skinner even. But it's really the only thing Labonte's got left to try and stay in this thing. As they cross the start-finish line, Labonte and Skinner are about 6.5 seconds off the lead already. How far apart the back of the field has already lost the majority of the draft up ahead. Labonte didn't mean to clip the apron there, but he does let Skinner go on by. Now tries to draft behind him and just hope for the best. Skinner doesn't really have a big draft off the cars in front of him. The pit window is going to open here in a couple laps to make it to the end of this race. And Labonte just can't even hang with Mike Skinner. I mean, this race is over for Terry Labonte. There is no way he is going to be able to gain track position. I mean, I'm not going to say no way. It is Daytona. And anything can happen. We could get another big pile up and he can miss it, maybe pass another 15 to 20 cars. I mean, that kind of thing is possible. But he is 8 seconds off the lead. He can't even hang with Mike Skinner at the back of the pack with how much damage he's got. I believe in the Pepsi 400 on Season 1 with Biffle, we finished like 28th or 29th because we got involved in a couple big accidents. The night Daytona race has just not been as good as the other super speedway races for whatever reason in this game. We just haven't had the right luck. And again, a lot of this boils down to when Sterling Marlin took Labonte out in that first big accident, which gave Labonte the heavy damage to begin with. And then more heavier damage there. He can't even hang with anybody now. Amazing how much speed has been taken out of that race car. I said Sterling Marlin was going to pay for it, for what he did last night, taking Labonte out of the race late. The race where the majority of the top 10 in points didn't finish in the top 10 for the second straight race, but Labonte loses ground still because of a DNF, finishing 42nd. All because Marlin just wiped him out, while Labonte had a big lead with less than 35 to go. We were close to our final pit stop. I don't really watch too much of AEW, but I do watch WWE from time to time. I don't watch like the weekly shows as much anymore, especially with streaming. I try to watch the pay-per-views at least. Royal Rumble coming up this week. I'm definitely going to watch that. I have no predictions right now for that. As far as like the actual Royal Rumble matches. That's one of the bigger ones I definitely look forward to every year, as most wrestling fans usually do. Well, here we go. 39 laps left. So we have our first set of drivers coming to pit road. Bonnie's already 16 seconds off the race lead. These guys are all going to pit before Terry Labonte has to pit. So the strategy here is going to be interesting because Labonte is anywhere between 5 to 8 laps short on fuel. He's not going to be able to save that much because he can't even draft off of anybody. And that's probably going to take 2 cautions to try and save it. So Labonte's going to short pit and just hope he can get back out. Oh, he slowed down way too much coming to pit road there. That was a big mistake. Locked the brakes up maybe a little too early. No tire pit stop. No damage will be repaired for Terry Labonte under this stop. And no adjustments. And for the 3rd time tonight, a mistake on pit road, and the 2nd time by the gas man. Labonte coming off of pit road. He's still going to beat a couple guys that went onto the pit lane the same lap he did. He's going to try to hold the field up as much as possible. This is the strategy call for Terry Labonte. Ricky Rudd, the race leader, held up behind him. So Terry Labonte is going to draft with the field here, trying to stay on the lead lap in case we get a caution. As he tries to get up to speed, and he's going to try to block for his life for pretty much the final just less than 40 laps of this race. If we get a caution before everybody else cycles through, Labonte will get the lead. Or maybe he could just try to survive and gain in positions by the end of this race as well by doing what he's doing right now. It's going to be a tough battle on older tires and a severely damaged race car. Well, he's got fresher tires now, but he'll have older tires once everybody else comes to pit road. Final pit stop of the night for Labonte, at least scheduled stop. He's got the clean air, but it's just not going to really be a lot of help. And Ricky Rudd already going to get around him. It didn't take long. Gordon with a run to the inside. Almost got around Rudd himself. Ricky Rudd trying to block Jeff Gordon. Every position's going to matter here for Labonte. Problem is he's a lap down, so now he needs us to run green to the finish. Trying to salvage every position he can get. That was much like what Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch were able to do earlier. But again, Labonte's got a much slower car now than what he did after the first accident. It's a shame that Labonte's pit crew has messed up 3 times tonight as well under green flag stops. He probably could have came out at least a couple more seconds ahead of this pack of cars. Bought himself at least a little bit more time, and that just wasn't the case. And twice the gas man has messed up on fuel-only stops. The jack man messed up on a 2-tire stop earlier in the first half of the race as well. I mean, it has just been a downhill spiral for Labonte and just his entire team here tonight. Barely stays in front of Michael Waltrip off of 4. 34 laps to go for the leaders.
Right side. Still beside you.
Trying to pinch off Ricky Craven, but not trying to make contact with him, and he'll barely hold on to the lead down the back, or sorry, not the lead, but the track position down the back straightaway. Kevin Harvick back on the inside again. At least Labonte was able to lead about a handful of laps early in the race before the big accident. Michael Waltrip coming to pit road that time. So this is going to be a real testament here. Waltrip was behind Labonte when coming to pit road. Can Labonte cycle ahead of him? And if he can, and again, maybe we get a late caution. Labonte's actually taken off on the restarts well. It's just when they get up to speed, that's when he loses the draft with the damage. So if he can even restart third on a late race restart, who's to say he can't take the lead going into turn 1 and just block for his life at that point? We've already seen 6 cautions tonight. It's not impossible that we would see another. Just trying to survive to the end. Nature of the beast that is Daytona. So here come the cars off of pit road. They're just getting into turn 1 as the majority of the field crosses the start-finish line. It's going to be very close on if Labonte's going to be able to lead this pack back out in front of them down the back straightaway or not. Only a couple cars came into the pits that last time anyway. There's a couple of them he's going to be able to get around, but I don't think he's going to get around all of them. Maybe only one driver, really. Looks like Stewart and Jeff Burton will be coming to pit road. It's Kenny Wallace. Labonte on the outside of Wallace, so get around him at least for position. And Michael Waltrip, I believe, is that next car further up ahead. If not even further than that. Labonte didn't gain nearly as much time as he would have thought he could have. I mean, it was a strategy call for sure. Definitely couldn't lose anything out of it. Maybe he can crash Sterling Marlin and bring out another big one and take out another dozen cars. I don't know. You know he wants to get payback on Marlin. Wrecking him twice. In fact, he crashed him out of last night's race, finished better than him. Somehow he survived the crash. And Labonte didn't. Then tonight, crashing him twice. Now, luckily, again, Labonte's still in the race, but should have never even happened. Especially on a fast track like this. Not the place to be causing intentional wrecks. Alright, thanks for stopping by, XX Games. Tomorrow night's stream will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, a little bit of a later start compared to what I like, especially for the Cup races. But luckily, it's only a 400-mile race. So we go to Chicagoland for the Tropicana 400, but my sister's got a basketball game, so it's her senior year, last few games, so go into that again. Looks like Ricky Craven's going to be coming onto pit road. Labonte's drafting with him really well in 1 and 2 at least, trying to pull that gap ever so slightly. More and more. Look at the run Matt Kenseth's got through the tri-oval. Kurt Busch coming up the inside as well. Kurt Busch is actually the leader now as we speak. Everybody that was already ahead of Terry Labonte, the few cars that were ahead of him and on the lead lap have already pit.
The 97 car is still there.
Labonte trying to draft off Hermie Sadler. And trying to block both Dale Jarrett and Kurt Busch. Oh, Kurt Busch bounced off the wall off of turn 4. this the drafting help Labonte needs? He's actually sticking with these two very, very good. Oh, we got it in the back of Park. Park checked up behind Hermie Sadler, who kind of threw a block on him. Hermie's actually had a decently fast car tonight. We saw him close to the top 10 very early in the race. Not because of qualifying, because he charged through the pack. I have no clue. I never really played the Super Mario games. Here's another pass for position. Bonnie gets by Steve Park. Still drafting Hermie Sadler. I think Labonte might have found a good draft partner of Hermie Sadler now. As long as Hermie stays on the inside, as long as Labonte can help it. Dale Jarrett is the race leader as we speak. Sadler pulled away when he went to the outside. Terry just can't hold the outside that well. Big run down the back straightaway. It's like Mayfield's going to go to the outside. I think he's actually going to battle the 5 for position. Dale Jarrett to the inside. Johnson's coming up through the field. Oh boy, Mayfield just squeezed by on the outside. I thought he was going to get in the wall there. What a move by him. Dale Jarrett, the race leader at the time, comes to pit road. Johnson's actually 4th position as well. And here's Sterling Marlin. The pack is catching. Marlin looks like he is very slow. Side drafting Hermie Sadler right now, kind of slowing this pack up. Caution. I'm not sure what for. There might have been a checkup behind there. They're racing back to the caution flag. Labonte just put Marlin back in the wall. Not the payback he wanted to get on him, but that might have trapped Marlin a lap down now as they race back to the caution flag. Some drivers coming to the pits. Oh, wow. I don't know what happened there. Steve Park just kind of got ran down the racetrack. I don't know why they threw a caution for that. Oh, Labonte pulled down in front of him. I didn't even realize that. Surprised they threw the caution, though. That was a strange way to throw the yellow. Labonte's going to stay out of the pits. Try to gain some more spots on drivers that did not pit. Or that might have pit under caution. We're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen here. Terry Labonte's got to be really careful. The right side of his race car is pretty well banged up. That's our 7th caution of the night. Again, not sure exactly why they threw the yellow there for Steve Park. I don't know if Labonte made contact with him back on the inside after getting into the 40. That's more damage on the 5 car now. Trying to draft his way, at least on the restart, maybe to pass a couple cars. Bonnie's just got to be careful because he doesn't have much more damage he can take on that race car the rest of the day. He's been prone to getting into that outside wall, even down the straightaways with the analog stick having issues. Wow, and so, oh, contact with Johnson off of 4. Not it. Oh, we got trouble. Down the front stretch, debris on the racetracks. The race back to the caution flag again. Big crash in the tri-oval. Big crash in the tri-oval. Labonte had to go all the way to the apron and into the grass to miss everybody. Debris off of Sterling Marlin's car. Our 8th caution of the night. With just over 20 laps to go. I don't know why there was a checkup in the tri-oval if there was another wreck as they were racing back to the caution flag, but that gains Labonte a handful of positions. See if anybody else pits under caution here. I don't know if there was a checkup from somebody else trying to come to pit road that didn't pit under the yellow for whatever reason. That was a very strange caution once again. And we're going to have another restart late in this race. And Labonte's up to 14th on the restart. Green flag back in the air.
All clear, buddy. Number 10 is outside.
Boy, if Labonte could even just luck himself into a top 15 at this point, that'd be insane.
Number 10 is still there. The 17 car is
Oh, he checked up on the restart again.
position lap man.
A couple of these lap cars up at the front of the field not taking off.
No one outside.
And it's slowing the pack up. Labonte was able to actually get up to 11th. Another check up down the back straightaway. Labonte's got to be careful because he's got heavy damage on the right side of his race car. The top maybe 5 or 6 really took off though. Labonte drafting right behind Kurt Busch.
Make it easy. We're in the top 10.
And are the cautions done for the night? Less than 20 laps to go in the Daytona, the Pepsi 400, not the Daytona 500. Labonte's actually staying with these guys in the draft. And Terry Labonte, again, don't look now, but Labonte is back in the top 10. This guy's pulling away from him though.
It's looking to pass.
Can't lose the draft, but he is. As we have gotten up to speed here at Daytona. And Labonte may be looking for another caution. Gain perhaps some more positions. Oh, Kenseth rubs up against the wall off of turn 4. What a resilient effort here by Terry Labonte. Might be 5 seconds off the lead, 2 laps into a restart. But he is in the top 10 here in the Pepsi 400. A lot of it a major wreck avoidance through the tri-oval. Racing back to the caution flag. Stewart gets back by on the outside. Labonte trying to draft with him down the back straightaway. He's trying to do whatever he can. As he just falls outside the top 10 again.
The 17 car.
Stewart staying on the outside. Now drops to the bottom. Labonte's still trying to block Kenseth. He's trying to stay in line with Stewart, but he doesn't want to run the outside to stay in line with Stewart unless it's on the straightaways.
Let's go now. Still 7 seconds off the lead.
6.7 off the lead to be exact at the line that last time. Stewart down to the inside in turns 1 and 2.
Way on fuel.
These guys are good to go on fuel to the end of the race. Oh boy, Labonte got loose off of turn 2. He's got to keep it off of these guys and keep it off the wall because of the heavy damage to the right side, especially the right front of the race car. He battles for 11th. Caution does come out with 10 or less laps to go.
The 2 car is going on.
Then we will restart single file. All the lap cars will have to line up to the back of the lead lap cars. Right now, as we speak, 14 laps left. So we're getting close to that. Labonte with a wrecked car just trying to hang on. Holding 2 big ones. And he's still in 11th. Wasn't the top 10 a couple laps ago until Stewart was able to get by on the outside. But he was the only guy able to get by on the outside. Rusty Wallace trying to stay high. Bonnie couldn't block him. Rusty's going to get on by now for 12th. Every position matters as far as the point standings are concerned. Is there anybody else out there that's trying to make it on fuel as well? We saw a couple guys pit under green already on these restarts late. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream.
Number 17 is looking right.
Johnny Benson from last. He's had an up and down day. He's been back and forth all the way through the pack multiple times. Been as high in the running order as 3rd. That would have been the roughest and toughest 400-mile race Terry Labonte's had to face all season.
Number 41, all over you back left.
Just an insane day. Top 12 would almost feel like a win for Terry Labonte considering all things that have happened. And he's not going to lose too many points. He might actually gain some spots in the point standings itself. Even if he does lose a little bit to the points leader junior, who I would have to assume is in the top 10 and running ahead of him. Oh boy, contact, Labonte still running. Ricky Craven on the inside takes 3 wide. 10 laps to go, this time behind the Pepsi 400. Yeah, not sure how much more damage that right. There's the damage indicator. Right front in the red, dark red on the right side. These final 10 laps for Terry Labonte, he's been involved in 2 big ones today. That's why he's got so much damage, but he is just trying to survive to the finish. Oh, slides up in front of the 41 of Casey Mears, but he had him cleared. Casey gave him a Terry accidentally slid up in front of him. Here's going to get on by the outside that time. Bonnie pulls up behind him, only allows him to pass him. I believe there's about 29 cars on the lead lap. Bonnie trying to get a run in the draft as well. Back to the inside into turns 1 and 2. Underneath the 41 of Mears. What a move by Labonte. A push from Ricky Craven from behind. What a slingshot move by Terry Labonte with a damaged car to get back around Mears for 12. That was impressive. Just as impressive as this run to the finish by Terry Labonte. Proving to himself why he's a 2-time Cup Series champ. Craven almost got in the wall off of 4 trying to get around Labonte. Martin and Johnson back in the middle of this pack. Craven, we know, has a fast car as well. This pack is really separated. It's only about 6 or 7 cars now. Not really going to make it any easier for Labonte, but the second group's probably going to catch this pack, especially with Labonte leading the pack here. And we could get another caution. The run by Craven. Labonte blocks to the inside into turn 3. Johnson coming up the outside. Craven to block him, maybe trying to get a run. 3 wide with Mears in the middle. Martin down to the inside. Car in the wall. I believe Johnson scraped the wall. Might have bounced into Casey Mears off of turn 4. And we have just 7 laps to go in the Pepsi 400. One of these days, Labonte's going to get back at Marlin for good. I'll have to wait another day for Chicagoland tomorrow to try and do it. Remember how crazy that finish and just the race was at Chicagoland when we were there in Season 1. Came down to a comeback win for Biffle over Jeff Gordon. And then Biffle ran out of gas off of 4 in the last lap, had to block Gordon to the line. Gordon ran right in the back of him as they crossed the line. 1-2 with Biffle getting the win. It'll be a fun race tomorrow. Probably one of the best finishes, if not the best finish we've ever had on this game. And a lot closer of a points battle this season going to Chicagoland compared to Season 1. Still more races to go as well compared to when we went there in Season 1. But let's see. 5 laps to go for the race leader. If we get to 4 to go and a caution comes out, they'll race back to the caution flag. And that would be it. Craven with a run. Contact with Labonte. Labonte's still running. Ward Burton down to the bottom. More contact to the inside. Labonte is doing everything he can to hold on for 12th. Battling like he's battling for the win. Whoa, slides up the track in front of Burton. Unbelievable. He's willing to make contact with the inside of his car. The outside of his car, on the other hand, anytime he makes contact there, that's not intentional, knowing how much damage there is. I mean, the tiniest hit could literally just blow the engine off of this race car. It has been through a lot today. Oh, and Mayfield actually got in the back of him that time, trying to give him a push. Luckily, the rear of the car is not too heavily damaged. And 4 laps to go in the Pepsi 400 now. Both the right side tires extremely warm, remember. Well, I guess Labonte, yeah, he got fuel only under the last stop, so he's got the oldest tires in the field on top of the damage. Burton had a run, lifted just a hair. 2 to go or less. Burton's not going to lift there. Analog stick's not allowing me to drive straight on the straightaways. Hasn't all day long. Burton back to the outside. They're 3x3 through the middle of the pack. So Burton drives on by for 12th. Casey Mears got around for 12. Burton was, sorry, not Burton, but Terry Labonte was able to run those guys back down. 3 laps to go. I think Ward Burton might be a little bit too far ahead here. He doesn't have a lot of drafting help. Actually, has 0 drafting help. At least Labonte's got some back here, but I think he's just a little bit too far behind and just too slow to catch up to Ward Burton. Labonte, another loose moment off of turn 2, sliding in front of Craven. No choice but for Craven to let out of the gas. And back down to the bottom to block Kenseth as well. Down the back straightaway goes Terry Labonte. Another big run on the outside for Ricky Craven. This leaders better be careful. If we get a crash in front of them, they're less than a half a lap behind everybody. They have to race back to the finish. That could be hectic. Have to assume it's still Jeff Gordon and Ricky Rudd battling it out for the win. Gordon looking for his 2nd win of the season, first since race 4 at Atlanta. And Ricky Rudd hasn't won a single race all year, but is in the top 10 in points. They'll be coming to the white flag this time by. So the leader's gotten there, a white flag in the air, 1 lap to go. LSU Superfan, welcome to the stream. When I get to 1,000 subs, I'll start adding moderators. No specific way of how I'm going to determine that yet. But we just don't have that many people in the chat right now for me to really want to make that happen. Contact with Craven on the outside off of turn 4. Well, at least the leaders won't have to race through a wreck back to the finish line, because this bigger pack has now gotten to the start-finish line for the white flag themselves. How is Labonte still running the 3 or 4 times he's made contact with a car to his outside in these final handful of laps? I don't know. Checkered flag is in the air. The race is already won. Labonte's just trying to hang on for dear life into 3 and 4 one last time for 13th. I mean, an incredible performance when he's had about a 30th place car or worse damage-wise. He's going to hang on to a 13th place finish to the checkered flag on older tires. Surviving 2 big ones today at Daytona in the Pepsi 400. That is almost a win for Terry Labonte. And Jeff Gordon will get his 2nd win of the season by just 1/10 of a second over Rudd. Kyle Petty with an incredible performance, finishing in 3rd. And we'll take a look through the rest of the running order from tonight's Pepsi 400. Dale Jarrett 4th. Elliott Sadler rounds out the top 5. Michael Waltrip in 6th. 7th was Jeff Burton. Kurt Busch 8th. Dale Jr., the points leader, 9th. And Rusty Wallace rounds out the top 10. Gordon led the most laps, leading 68 of the 180 laps today. He definitely had a bad fast car, and that was after qualifying 18th in the middle of the pack. Great run for him. Labonte, there you see, leading 10 of the 160. Leading, I believe, the 3rd most laps today, despite not leading a lot. And finishing 13th, that's solid. Despite being in 2 big ones, that's about as good as it gets. It's almost like in the 500 where we finished 8th place despite being involved in a big one with less than 20 to go. Had to avoid an accident on the front stretch coming to that last caution there in the last 20 laps as well, and that's what helped him gain spots and even got into the top 10 with about 15 to go because of avoiding that wreck going through the grass, through the tri-oval. And the DNFs that happened today, Jerry Nadeau, Kevin LePage, Chase Montgomery. We saw LePage and Montgomery have heavy damage. They were involved in that lap 35, big one. Bill Elliott, also DNF. Ryan Newman had an engine failure. We saw Bobby Labonte's engine failure. Joe Nemechek had an engine failure. He was also involved in that lap 35 accident as well, so that probably hindered his progress also. Greg Biffle had an engine failure. Christian Fittipaldi, he had an engine failure. David Green did not make it to the finish. Neither did Stanton Barrett. Oh, sorry, there was only 150. My bad. Forgot there wasn't a 200 lap race. Okay, so Biffle, Nemechek, Labonte, Bobby Labonte, that is, Newman, Elliott, Montgomery, LePage, and Nadeau all DNF'd here today. So we have 7 drivers that failed to finish. We'll take a look at the point standings now. I think there's going to be a shakeup. Dale Jr. with his 2nd straight top 10 run. Only led 2 laps despite qualifying on the pole. That was his 3rd straight pole award. That's definitely helped with him getting bonus points, that's for sure. So Gordon getting his 2nd win of the year will propel him to 3rd in the point standings for you Jeff Gordon fans out there. Dale Jr. still the points leader. Only gains 9 points on Tony Stewart today. But the 5 bonus points are literally just finishing 2 positions higher than him in the running order as well. So Jr. still the points leader. Stewart within a race of the lead. So is Gordon, Kenseth in 4th. Jeff Burton still rounds out the top 5. Solid season for him. He's tied with his teammate Mark Martin. So 3 Roush Fenway drivers there in the top 6. They're having a good season collectively. Dale Jarrett only 109 back. So the top 7 are still within 1 race of each other in points. Unbelievable as we are 1 race away from the halfway point on the season. Bobby Labonte only 185 back. Terry Labonte 209 back. Labonte gains 1 spot in points. Came in 10th. He leaves 9th. So that was a good salvage of a finish today as he'll surpass, I believe, Rusty Wallace. No, he surpassed Ryan Newman. Newman was around 5th or 6th in points, but his DNF costed him a lot of spots as he's fallen outside the top 10 now in the points. Actually tied with 10th Rusty Wallace, his teammate. Neither one of those two have a win, so I don't know how the tiebreaker goes there. Best finish, I think, after that point, or average finish, I don't know. But either way, that is going to wrap things up here tonight. So Labonte loses ground again, but he only loses 16 points tonight to the points leader Dale Jr. It could have been a heck of a lot worse. But that is going to wrap it up as the tight points battle nonetheless continues here into the summer months. Thanks for everybody watching here today. It was a fun night once again. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every day in hopes of me living my dream, and follow me on that journey again by subscribing to work my way to the top and hopefully becoming a real-life NASCAR broadcaster in the future. So thanks, everybody, for your appreciation and support. As always, still on the road to 1,000 subs as well. And hit that like button, as mentioned, on your way out. Helps with the YouTube algorithm. Getting these videos and streams recommended under other related NASCAR content. We'll be back at it tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Chicagoland for the Tropicana 400 right here on NASCAR Thunder 2004. And I will see you. Go get that black controller. I will, but it'll probably take 2 to 3 days at least for it to come in on Amazon. So we're going to have to struggle the next couple races still with that, Tim. So hopefully we can get through at least the next few races and try to stay in the championship hunt as much as we possibly can up until then. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. Have a good rest of your night.